Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Wesley Community Cooking Show. I'm Executive Chef Nathan Daly. Today we have a special guest with us, Kathy Kane, our Clinical Nutrition Manager. Hi Kathy, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nate. Well, today's cooking demonstration is part of our Lunch and Learn series that we're hosting at Wesley for National Nutrition Month. National Nutrition Month is an education campaign, and it's sponsored every year in March by the Academy for Nutrition and Dietetics. And the focus is to educate people and make people more aware of how nutrition affects our health. And this year, the theme for Nutrition Month is Go Further with Food. So what we're looking at are types of foods that we can eat that'll make us feel better, foods that give us more energy and that fuel our activities for the day. And today's topic is Power Up with Breakfast. And Chef Nate is going to be preparing a spinach and tomato frittata, which is a breakfast entree. But I wanted to talk a little bit about breakfast. I think we all know that this is an important meal, but I think it's one that's often overlooked. People either skip it or grab something quick on the go, and then by mid-morning they hit that slump and they're looking for something else to eat, a lot of times a sugary snack or something. So let's talk a little bit about what makes up a good breakfast. What kind of foods should we be choosing? Well, I always recommend including some kind of a high protein food at breakfast. And the reason for that is that protein is going to stay with us longer. It helps stabilize our blood sugars, and that keeps our energy levels up during the day. So we're more alert and better able to do our job or whatever else we have to get done for the morning. Good examples of protein might be things like eggs, cheese, milk, yogurt, peanut butter or other nut butters. And our entree that we're preparing today does include two high protein foods, the eggs and the cheese. In addition to protein, you want to add some type of a starch or a grain to your breakfast meal. And whole grains are preferable to the more refined grains or sugary things like donuts or pastries, because again, whole grains contain a lot of fiber, and that also helps to stay with us longer, fills us up better, and stabilizes our blood sugar. We can also add some type of a fruit or vegetable at breakfast, again, giving us more fiber, more vitamins and minerals, and kind of rounding out the meal. So our spinach tomato frittata, as I mentioned, is a good source of protein from the eggs and the cheese. Now I know that in the past, eggs have had a bad reputation. People try to avoid eggs because they're high in cholesterol and they feel that they're not part of a heart-healthy diet. But what nutritionists have found in recent years is that the cholesterol in eggs really doesn't have a lot of impact on our blood cholesterol. It's more the other types of fats in our diet that raise cholesterol levels, like the saturated fats and the trans fats. So eggs really can be a part of a healthy diet. And the good news about eggs is that they're really a nutrition powerhouse. Aside from being a great source of protein, eggs also contain another type of fat called omega-3 fatty acids that can help cut down on inflammation in the body. They're protective for our eyes and also heart healthy. Eggs are a great source of B vitamins, vitamin D. They also contain some minerals like zinc and iron. So we don't have to be afraid of eggs anymore. They can be included in our healthy diet. This recipe that Nate's preparing is pretty versatile. Nate's using spinach and tomatoes today, but if you don't like spinach and tomatoes, you can use other vegetables, things like mushrooms or peppers or broccoli. And one thing I like to do with frittata recipes is make mini frittatas. I use a non-stick muffin pan. Put the egg mixture in, bake for about 15 or 20 minutes at 350. And then I wrap the little mini frittatas individually and pop them in the freezer. So they're ready to go for a quick breakfast when I don't have time to cook. All right, now we'll turn things over to Chef Nate, and he will show us the method for preparing the frittata.
All right, thank you, Kathy. We'll walk you through this recipe. Let's get started. So a frittata is similar to an omelet, but instead of sauteing all our ingredients and rolling them inside the egg, we're going to cook them inside the egg in the pan and bake it right in the oven. So our ingredients for our frittata today, we have chopped spinach, cherry tomatoes, minced garlic, chopped onion. We also have feta cheese cubed up or crumbled, and we have our eggs. All right, so to get started, you're just going to use a traditional saute pan or a non-stick will work. I've already seasoned mine here with about 2 tablespoons of oil. We go ahead and get it a little warm before we put in any ingredients. Let the oil heat up. Once you get the oil nice and hot, the first thing we're going to do is add in our spinach. I have about 1.5 cups of chopped spinach. I'm spreading it around the pan and try to make sure it all coats on the bottom. We're going to give that a minute to saute, and then we're going to add in some chopped onion. I like to take my spatula here, work it around the pan. Get everything off the sides of the pan. We don't want them sticking to the sides. Once that's sauteed for a minute, we're going to add in our chopped onion here. I'm going to have to put in about 1/4 cup. So you can also play with the ingredients, a little more or a little less, depending on how you like it. We'll let the onion saute for another minute. Once that starts to get some color, the next thing we're going to add is our minced garlic. I tend to like a lot of garlic, so I'm going to go ahead and put about 1 tablespoon in. Always keeping it stirring, moving our saute pan around. We'll give that another minute. Let the garlic get a little color on it. But we don't want the garlic to burn and get bitter. Next, we're going to add in our cherry tomato. I'd say about 1/2 cup tomatoes would be good. Again, what I'm trying to do is get everything to get a little color on it, but not to turn brown or burn at all. Last ingredient I'm going to add right before the egg is the cheese. And when I add the cheese, I like to turn off the heat so we don't have that cooking in the pan or melting before it goes into the oven. This diced up feta cheese, we're going to do about 1/2 cup to 1 cup, depending on how much you like. So once we have our spinach, our onion, garlic, tomato, and cheese all in the pan, I'm going to start adding our liquid egg. For a saute pan that's 12 inches, about this size, this many ingredients, I'm going to go ahead. I'm adding about 3 cups of egg to this. I like to go ahead and stir around all the ingredients, make sure everything's evenly and distributed throughout the pan. Try to do your best to take your spatula, work the eggs off the sides of the pan. And so we're going to take this and put it in our oven, preheated at 350 degrees for about 15 or 20 minutes. So we set that in the oven for about 15-20 minutes. We'll let it bake. We'll come back and give it a look. Okay, so it's been just about 20 minutes, maybe 17 minutes. I think we're good to pull out our frittata and make sure we are good to go. So we'll go ahead and we'll give it a try. Cut that right in half. Tell me what you think, Kathy. Good. All right, this has been another edition of the Wesley Cooking Show. I hope we've inspired you to get more creative on your breakfast choices and improve your nutrition at the same time. On behalf of myself and Kathy, thank you very much for joining us.